Ba 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 ba. We are live. Ba 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 ba. We are live. Ba 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 ba. And there's no response from Jones. Please tell me you didn't
Oh,
leave.
it's not in my ears. I guess it didn't come through.
You're snapping ears. You get your earsnapon.com. Okay, so before we
Lucky.
get moving and grooving too much, before we get started too much, I have to issue an apology to the game that we have running in the background at the moment. You'll find out soon. Um, last week during our demo this episode, I talked a lot of crap about Sea of Stars, and I am sorry. It makes a huge difference when you play it on the right system. Oh my god, it was crazy. Um, yeah, the game is gorgeous. The soundtrack is fantastic. The systems are great. That I misunderstood. I misunderstood the whole battle system behind this whole thing. Um,
You didn't
and
get past it.
oh, what happened?
You didn't get past the tutorial, did you?
No, I definitely got past tutorial stuff. I was like 5 hours in. I just checked it earlier on today on my Switch. But it's on Game Pass, and I've been playing it since early this morning. And I'm like addicted to this damn RPG. I could definitely see how well they integrated the influences of Trigger in this game now. Yeah, it makes a huge difference what system you play it on, which is crazy because I'm going to be praising the Switch a little bit later, but we will get to that point sooner or later. Anyway, let's hit this opener and then we'll dive in. Hit it, Kim.
Welcome back, gamers, to another episode of Experience Points Podcast. And don't forget, gamers, to
Level up.
All right. Hello. Welcome back, gamers, to the Experience Points Podcast. I'm your host, Zero Sin, and I'm joined by the one and the only Blackouts.
Damn straight. What up, y'all?
Today, this is episode 73, and today's date is Sunday, February 16th. Almost lost it there, 2025. And on today's episode, we're going to be chatting about our handheld gaming memories. And before we get started, I'll be playing Sea of Stars in the background. Jonesy, it's on your screen there if you want to jig it out. See how,
It already looks like it's paying tribute and homage to the greatest game of all time, Chrono Trigger.
yes.
They ripped off the first time.
And even though the quality on Discord is only 720, the quality on the stream is going through Xbox now, so it's going to be 2.5K. So it's going to look a lot better than it does on the Switch. And again, just overall, just plays better and feels better. All right, well, let's go ahead and dive into it. And what was your first handheld console ever?
My first handheld console ever was the original Game Boy, that big, giant, rectangle monstrosity of a system with a super small screen that had like 3 shades. Yeah,
That's funny.
I started back in the beginning.
In the good old days. Well, my first system was a ColecoVision Portable, so that's what happened there. I'm just, I'm just joking. It's not a thing.
I was about to say, I've heard of a lot of stuff, but I ain't never heard of that one.
It's called the CVP, is what it was called for short.
Wow.
No, I definitely had the Game Boy first. Funny enough, I had the Game Boy and the Game Gear, but I'm going to go on record now by saying that first of all, I wasn't a spoiled rich kid like Jones was. That's first and foremost. Secondly, I have no idea how I got half the systems I got half the time until I got older when I started like trading stuff in and actually getting games that way because that's the only way I could afford it. So these stories, they're gonna be like half unknown, half unknowns. Just FYI.
And I'm one of them saying, I never had a Game Gear. I always wanted to get a Game Gear, never had a Game Gear. I even
Oh,
bought a freaking Gear game.
well, you might want to hold off on that because I definitely got some stories about that. But anyway,
Uh,
what was the first few games that you had on your Game Boy?
Well, first of all, there's a game that everybody had, good old Tetris.
Yes,
It was
sir.
a game with the Game Boy, but for some reason, it was actually better than the Nintendo version. I don't understand why. It just was, and it was kind of addicting on Game Boy. Like
Yeah, it
you could
was.
take it or leave it on the NES. Like everyone, when you hear about Tetris, the definitive version that they always talk about is the Game Boy version.
Yeah, the Game Boy that was crack. That was sure crack. I can still remember. Ooh, Bubble Pop, nice. I still remember that damn green screen and the high contrast blocks. And then I remember specifically trying to play this damn game coming home from visiting family in the city of Chicago because we lived in the suburbs. But then I would always like wait to make a move until like the next light showed up. You know what I mean? The freaking the street lamps on the highway would like go by, and I would just be leaning outside the window, waiting for these damn the screen to be lit up so I can make my next move. I lost a lot of games that way.
Bet.
And I remember I always had it with me on those trips. And then one time I didn't have any batteries, and it died like minutes after we got in the car, and I had to take that long ride back home. And I was just bored. I was so mad. I would just stare. At one point in time, I actually pretended I was playing it.
Wow.
That's how hooked I was on that damn thing. It was great.
I mean, to be fair, the battery life was pretty good on it, even though you had to like 4 giant AA batteries in that thing. But
Yeah,
yeah, the
but
batteries were
but the
pretty
thing is,
good.
when you get to your uncle's house at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you don't leave until 2 o'clock in the morning, and you basically spend all day doing that and playing
Yeah,
Nintendo, yeah, that battery's gonna die.
and most people did not have like an extra pack of 4 AA batteries. Usually on a
Yep.
game in like packs of 4, so you got that's basically the whole pack right there. And you don't have that. And like maybe 2 people in the world ever had the charging thing. I mean, the little like battery pack it makes it like twice the size. I remember those things. That thing was huge.
I didn't know it had a battery pack attachment to it.
It did, but it was real ghetto.
That's funny. That's pretty funny. The first game I had for the Game Gear was pretty much the same game everybody had, Sonic. Um, and the bad thing about the Game Gear was it came with this ginormous battery pack. You thought the Xbox original battery was huge. Like this was on par with that.
Oh God.
This is how big that damn thing was. And then it goes back to like the old school days where um, when you be walking down the street with your old school Walkman, and then it wouldn't work right. You know what I mean? So you have to scrunch the cord up. The same thing happened with the Game Gear. The exact same thing. It was such a pain.
Yeah, that sounds annoying. Oof.
Good old days,
But
though.
I did enjoy playing the game. I didn't have on myself but like my basically my god. Oh no, no, this might be my second god. Like I think, well, I was just gonna say my mother's second best friend's kids had a Game Gear, and so I did play a lot of Game Gear. It's fun because it was actually color, but that battery did not last nearly as long. Every time I could say I played for like 10 minutes, oh man, the battery's dying. And it was game over. Going back to the Game Boy.
Yeah, it was definitely a pain in the butt. I don't think I played much anything else on the Game Boy. At least that I don't remember. Me and Juan used to sit outside his house in the sun and play that damn thing. I think we used to play Tetris and just trade back and forth. Like when one person beats a stage or loses, we just pass it on and do the next thing. But there's another game that we had, but I just can't remember what the flip it was. It
Okay,
wasn't
well,
it,
let me see.
it wasn't one of the Mario games. Um,
Oh,
What else did they have on that damn thing? Did they have like Excite Bike or something like that?
No, I don't think there was a Game Boy version of that. But let me try to jog your memory because I did have a few games. So
Okay.
let's see, memorable games. Well, one of the first ones I had because they were actually the main reason I really wanted to get a Game Boy. I wanted to freaking get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles all the Foot Clan because I was a Ninja Turtle crackhead. I had to have everything Ninja Turtle related. When I saw that game, like I was like, I gotta have it. It looked fun. It was actually really fun. I can't remember if it came out before after Turtles 2, the arcade game on NES, but it was definitely better than the NES Turtles 1 game. I mean, that's a classic, but that game was what
Oof. That game was
pretty
terrible.
hard. So,
And it was extremely hard, especially that freaking water level. Good
that
lord.
water level broke people. I remember the first time I beat that level, I learned how I had to beat. I really had to sacrifice one turtle. Like, because if you let the time run out, I think you just automatically game over everybody. So like, I had to like go to the one
Uh
like in
huh.
the far northeast corner and like get that bomb and just let them die. Then I come back with the rest, and as long as I pretty much I think I have to sacrifice Raphael every time I get. And now, in my opinion, he's the weakest person turtle in that game.
Yeah, because his
But
freaking
yeah.
weapon didn't reach anything.
It was literally like that. It's like he does. It's like the way he uses the fire. It's not even just stabbing it outward. He just do that little thing where like flipping it in his hand, like supposed to hit somebody like that.
Exactly. That was the exact
And he
sound.
wasn't even
That's the exact
target.
sound it made too. That was pretty good. Do it again.
I can't. It was so versatile. I can't now.
Come on, do it.
I feel what I did. That's it. Okay, now I'm talking about Leonardo like Leonardo.
There he goes. Ooh,
Raphael.
nice. Very nice. This game is really
Yeah.
good. This game is really good at like having like little secret things around that I definitely enjoy.
I do that in all my games.
What'd you
So
say?
yeah, so like, but also like clicking like little X while you're walking around and get items that might be in the bushes and stuff. I do that in all my games.
You're so funny. Don't
But
be
yeah,
greedy.
so other games we got besides Fall of Fall of Footland, it was fun. It wasn't too difficult. Like I was a kid. I'm not trying to play super difficult games back then. I wasn't at that point where I'm gonna challenge myself like I am now. Like
Mm.
it was a fun game. It had good playability, but it wasn't really hard. Like, it was hard, but it wasn't that hard. And if you died, I think you could restart at the levels you were at. So, it was cool.
Oh, they actually had that back in the day.
So, the Game Boy, yeah, I think it did. I think it had stage select, matter of fact. Like, once you beat the level, you could just restage select any level you wanted to.
Gotcha.
But other than that, I mean, other games, there was Super Mario Land, which I was kind of about, like, it was not my favorite Mario game because when I thought that the fire flower was a fireball, but in fact it's a freaking marble. I never had understood, like, why you have to, like, shoot it and, like, deflect off. And I didn't even know it was a marble until, like, years later, honestly.
I
I was like,
never I
what?
never
This
played that game
fireball?
until it came to the Switch. Never played it until it came to the Switch.
Really?
Yes.
You didn't miss too much, I'll tell you that. Like, Mario Land 2 was where it all was at. 6 golden coins, that was fun.
I heard that was fantastic. I forgot to check that out.
And then Castlevania, I was first one or the second one. I think I had Castlevania 1 on Game Boy. It might have been Castlevania 2. They're not like the Nintendo ones, like they were like completely different. I think I had the first Castlevania on Game Boy. That game was hard, but it was addicting. Like I was trying my ass off to beat that game. I think there was only 4 stages. I could never get past stage 2. But it was fun.
Yeah, definitely good times with the Game Boy. Well, on to the second system.
Mega Man 2. Oh, that was a fun one.
You know what? You know what? I
I
think that's the one that he had because he had a Game Boy, um, and I think Mega Man was like the game that we would play together.
can see that.
Unless it was
Yeah,
unless it was a Pokemon game. Was there a Pokemon game?
I mean, yeah. I mean, okay. First of all, just keep in mind the Game Boy Color games played our regular games.
Some other.
Just keep that in
Okay.
mind. Pokemon did start out on the regular Game Boy. The original red, blue, and yellow were all on Game Boy.
Okay, I think it might have been Pokemon. Now that I'm really thinking about it. Yeah, because I think he was trying to get me into it, and I really didn't. I really didn't care for Pokemon. I mean, I still really don't, but
Yeah, we know.
yeah. But then I really didn't. So I think I just sat back and watched him play. What was your second system that you ever had?
It's the Game Boy Color. If that actually counts. The Game Boy Color was like
You
right
you
up
sound
there.
like Bob Barker. It's the Game Boy Color. Come on
Come
down.
on down.
Oh, that's neat. That's how you get back up there. Nice.
Oh yeah, the Game Boy Color. If you will learn as
Jordan.
we talk today, and
Hmm.
I was definitely a Nintendo fanboy when it came to the handheld. But yes, the Game Boy Color was my second, if we're counting that. And
We are
technically my
most
third,
definitely.
because the second one scattered. Okay.
What was the top games that you played on there? Because I never had a Game Boy Color. I saw it and I never had one.
Well, okay. Well, now we can go into my crack addiction back in the beginning, Pokemon. I love me some Pokemon. Now I did have Pokemon Blue. Like I actually got Pokemon Blue, and then I got a Game Boy Color just because that's how. That is really what motivated me to get a new game. Was like I'm playing this crappy Game Boy. I want to see colors and stuff, but it wasn't like the old school games. Like they weren't. You could play it on there, but the palettes were like really basic, so it was still kind of like just playing a Game Boy game. But
Hmm.
I'm gonna count Pokemon Yellow because that was actually made sort
For
of
the
for
Game
the
Boy
Game
Color.
Boy.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah,
heard about
so
that.
Pokemon Yellow and Super Mario Land 2, the six golden coins. That was I'm pretty sure that was actually made for the Game Boy Color.
Oh really?
I think.
I thought that was a regular Game Boy game.
No, I think that's color. Hold on, let's look it up real quick. Remember? No, I'm not gonna ask her. She will not use it right there. Let me,
Alexa gonna do you wrong.
yeah, she will do you so wrong. But she don't know what the heck she's talking about anymore. But I'm curious to see. Super Mario Land 2 made Game Boy Color.
Let's make ourselves a Chandre.
That doesn't really
Nice.
tell me. Doesn't really tell me.
Oh, while you look that up,
Actually, I guess you're right. I think it was. I think Super Mario Land 3, aka Wario Land, was actually the first one for color.
that makes more sense. Um,
Yeah.
my second system was the Game Boy Advance.
Okay, Game
Now,
Boy
did you
Advance.
have the original? Or did you have the SP?
Look, well, I had the original Game Boy Advance. I did not have the SP.
I got you. Yeah, I got the SP because I got mine later. And again, a lot of these systems I got later on in life by trading in other stuff to get these systems. Excuse me.
Which is like completely the reverse of how I thought of things. I want to collect everything back in the day when I wanted to literally own every single video game ever made.
Remember, Mister, I'm gonna fly to Georgia or Texas or wherever you went to pick up a $175 copy of Dragon Ball Final Bout
No. See, that's where you're wrong at. They got that
GTXY.
thing brand new for like $35.
What?
It costed 179.
That's about,
to get it
that's
when
about
it-
after it got stolen.
Oh no, I thought I rebought it on Amazon. I mean, eBay. Yeah, I did spend about 170.
Exactly. I remember.
Yes, people, I spent $180 on a crappy Dragon Ball GT Final Bout game because I got my original stolen only for like maybe 6 months later to actually release. They did like a re-release of like a couple of old fighting games, like they did Dragon Ball GT Final Bout, and they actually released like one of the Japanese exclusive games as well. So yeah, I feel like $179 only for them to re-release it later, and it cost like $20 in the store, and I was pretty upset about that. But I was really upset that I got robbed. That's the real upsetting part.
Obviously, that's bass drop, nice. That's the biggest thing. Real quick before this conversation continues. So this game has double team moves, just like in Trigger.
Double check.
I'm gonna assume that triple tech moves are gonna come later on down the road. Just gonna assume that. I don't know anything else about the game besides what I'm playing, which I'm very happy about. But if they do
They
make
even
it,
got the freaking Chrono Trigger save file. What?
even if they do decide to make Octopath Traveler 3, I hope and pray that they have double team or triple team moves in there, and or even quadruple team, because you can have a team of 4 in that game, and that would just I would have took that game, that franchise to the next level. I was thinking about that earlier today. But anyway, but go ahead, continue.
So what were we talking about? Oh, right. So other games on the Game Boy. Now, think about it. At that point, I think my Game Boying became basically just me playing Pokemon. So Pokemon Gold and Silver were definitely, well, Gold, because that's the version I had, was
Hmm.
definitely another one of my like top tier Game Boy games because I was a crackhead for Pokemon.
Nice. Um, some of the ones I played on there. One of the first ones I played because I was a Dragon Ball Z fan at the time, and I mean I still am obviously, but that was like
Oh
that
my,
was
that's
that was
not
like at
that
the
game.
at the height of my Dragon Ball fandom, and I just wanted to get my greedy little hands on whatever I could, and Dragon Ball Z, the Legacy of Goku, because I didn't know.
Love that
Like
game.
I didn't know
Love
what it
that
was.
game.
Like I just got it because it had Dragon Ball on it. I had no idea what it was. And then when I saw there was a freaking like sprite-based RPG, I lost my damn mind. Lost my
I
damn
love
mind.
the hell out of that game.
Me too. Well, it was really good. Doing the freaking key blasts and the Kamehameha waves and stuff like that. I was like, oh, they're so cute. Characters are
Yes,
adorable.
and then they had the sequel to Legacy of Goku 2. I think that's what it was called too.
Yes, and that one mainly starred Gohan, but that one I didn't care for.
I mean, that one was basically just like trying to go on with the keep sequential with the story. It wasn't as good. I completely agree, but I did enjoy how like if you did certain things, you could actually like go and fight cooler. I think it was like you had to, I can't remember, you had to like find items or something like that. And yeah, like you go fight cooler. But yeah, it wasn't as good as regular, especially because they freaking had Hercules ass up in there too much.
Yeah, I definitely didn't get too far in that damn game. That is for
I
sure.
beat it. I
Oh wow.
did beat it because again I was Dragon Ball crackhead, so I wanted everything. I had every little taste of Dragon Ball Z, although I did not actually get the third one because like the third one was like Boo's Rage or something like that, but it didn't even like
Hmm.
I don't know. I didn't,
Another one on there was one of my all-time favorites, Metroid Fusion. Like I picked that up on the whim because up to that point, I wasn't the biggest Metroid fan. I was like, I knew of Metroid and I liked it just fine. But I wasn't like a huge fan like I am now. Like I absolutely love that game and that series now. But Metroid Fusion made that happen. Like it just shocked me from the start of that game to the very end. It's almost the perfect Metroidvania.
see, and there you go. Like that was another one I forgot. Metroid 2: Return of Samus. That was another one of my favorite original Game Boy games.
Yeah,
And
that.
yes, you're right. I wasn't like when the original Metroid came out. I wasn't really into it, but then Metroid 2. I don't remember how I got it. I think I kind of got it on a whim myself, and I loved it. And then like after that, because I think I got it kind of later on. Well, no, I think I had it, but I didn't play it for a real long time. Actually, no,
Hmm.
that's what happened. I had it for the longest ass time, and I didn't really play it. But then I think Metroid 3 came out, and I fell in love with that game, so I went and beat it. And then I went back and played Metroid 2 and Metroid 1. Like I like because Super Metroid is definitely what made me fall in love with the Metroid franchise. But then like it made me reappreciate what the original games were trying to do. And Metroid 2 really did a lot of things right.
Which one? Which one was the remake of one? First mission?
Um, Zero Mission,
Zero Mission. That's
I
what it's
believe,
called. Yeah.
and then Samus. Well, the one that came out on 3DS was the remake of Metroid 2,
Isn't that
which
one
I
on
didn't.
the online, the Nintendo Online first mission?
Yeah, I actually bought it back when it was on the Wii U store. I never actually played it, but I did buy it before the store went down.
Okay.
So it's one I need to go back and check out because
Yeah.
because like it does retell the original story, but considering how unplayable, with all due respect, how very unplayable the original Metroid is now, I think like anybody that wants to get back into the series would have to play that one that
Hmm.
version of it. But it also had like an extra part, like I think after you beat the regular game, like you get kidnapped or something like that, you get put onto a spaceship and then you get like, introduced to Zero Suit or something like that. I don't know the details of it. I'm just
Spoilers. I'm just
learning that
I'm
point.
joking. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. um, Another one that I really really love was Super Mario Kart Super Circuit. I played the crap out of that game, man. Because at the time I was working at that adult foster care place, and I was working third shift, and I didn't want to bring my system because I didn't trust the people there. so
Mm-hmm.
so I had my handhelds most of the time, and I played a lot of Mario Kart. A lot of Mario Kart.
Wouldn't
Definitely
be
had a.
surprised you, but I didn't really like many racing games on the Game Boy or any handheld. It was too small.
You don't like racing games, period.
Right. That is not true.
The only one you like is
I
Mario Kart.
like Mario Kart. I like
Exactly.
Mario Kart 64. I like pretty much most Mario Karts up until they started using numbers to be precise.
So they start getting all numerical on you.
Yeah, for real.
um,
Being honest.
Another one, Golden Sun. Golden Sun was fantastic. That RPG, and again, just like back in the day, like I only had like 15 to 20 bucks per check to spend on video games, so I had to choose wisely. And I honestly would spend literal hours in GameStop or Babbage's or whatever you want to call it.
KB
Um,
toys.
what did you say?
Or KB toys.
That one, no, not really. There was a place across from GameStop called FYE for Your Entertainment, and they had a like very select, very slim pick. It was slim pickings for video games there, but they had stuff there that GameStop didn't have a lot of the times. It was like a lot of like,
Yeah, I think I usually bought anime from that place.
right, and the same thing here. I bought either anime or martial arts movies from there, but sometimes I would get like games like that, and Golden Sun was one of them. I'm like, what the hell is this? It just looked interesting on the back, and um, just loading that up and checking it out and having the different systems and whatnot. And the art style was very voxel, very pixelated, which I really enjoyed. Um, I still have to play part two, to be honest.
I never played any Golden Sun, but I think there was another one of those games that I downloaded before the eShop went down on the GameCube.
Okay.
I mean, Switch, sorry. The Wii U. The Wii U. There we go. Third time strong.
One of those systems.
Yep.
Super Mario Advance, which I was upset about because it was just Mario 2. I was like, damn it.
Okay, so look, first and foremost, they did some weird ass numberings of it. Like Super Mario Advance 2 was like Super Mario 3, and Super Mario Advance 3 was like Super Mario World. It was just confusing.
It really was. Because I thought it was going to be a whole new thing. Yeah, it was
Yes,
not.
sir. That was actually one of the disappointments. Well, we'll get to that soon enough.
Sooner or later. What's another one on the Advance that you enjoyed?
Well, let's see. Advance, there was Pokemon Sapphire. Because you know some other
Was
Pokemon
there
games.
anything else that's not a Pokemon game?
Um. Okay, so honestly, this is where we have to move along to I would say the next category on your list. You know, you do on your little hosting thing. I read what it was, so you might as well go to it.
Okay. And you talking about the least favorite?
Yeah.
Okay.
So unfortunately,
Uh-uh.
out of all of my handheld consoles, my least favorite was in fact the Game Boy Advance. Even though hearing
What?
you talk about certain games made me
What?
forget about a lot of games that did come out. But look, here's my reason: the Game Boy Advance. It was a great system in terms of power, but like just for me, a lot of the games that came out just weren't really scratching that itch that I had at the time.
And that's definitely understandable because I still get that way. Like if there's certain thing I want to play, I'm craving to play. Like nothing else will work. Like right now, all I want to play is Monster Hunter Wilds. But fortunately, Sea of Stars came along and it's kind of scratching that itch for now. It's not Monster Hunter obviously, but it's a game that I'm interested in playing at the moment.
Yeah. But yeah, so like on the advance, even though like I said, okay, so one, I never played Metroid Fusion on the Advance because I would probably have changed my mind completely
I
about it from
definitely
just
would have
playing
changed
that.
your mind. Oh, and real quick. Oh, sorry to interrupt, but I also had the Game Boy Advance player for the GameCube,
I did
and
have the GBAP. I still have that, as a matter of fact.
I've never heard anybody call it the GVAP before, and let's not ever do that again.
Okay,
So
Mr. Smith. Okay,
I,
Mr. Smith.
I
I
have
got you
I
back
have
in my
not
case.
said SNES since that episode, and you know it. Out of respect for
Yeah.
y'all.
But, that is the only time I've ever actually called it that, and I probably won't say it again
Good, because if you do, I will throw up. So let's go ahead and move
That's
forward.
the only called the Game Boy Advance player. It's called the Game Boy Player. But yes, I love
It
that thing.
is
That's
no.
what I love.
It only
Yes,
play
it's
get
called the Game
no.
Boy Player.
It only play Game Boy Advance games, right?
No, but it was called the Game Boy Player. Look it up.
Ask Alexa.
Alexa, what was the name of the peripheral that allowed you to play Game Boy Advance games on the TV?
Damn it.
Oh,
I distinctly remember that thing being called the Game Boy Advance player, but
well, you remember incorrectly, sir.
obviously. But that thing was awesome. I mean, I was like, I can play these games on TV. Like, I wasn't even concerned about. I didn't realize, how stretching it out onto the TV would make it look, because later on with the Wii U, you get the option to change the
Mhm.
size of it and make it look a little bit better. Because when you stretch it out, it looks bad. And that's why, honestly,
Yeah, that's
a
what
lot of
makes
the
sense.
times when
Right.
I'm playing my Switch and I want to play something old school, I play in handheld mode because if I put those old games on TV, they look horrible.
Yeah, that is very true. Well, I mean, that might have partially to do with the doing the Switch. No offense to you, Switch, but yeah, terrible.
You-
We
but
love you and we hate you at the same time. Sometimes.
we really do, and we'll talk about that later too.
But
um,
yeah, but like, actually, don't forget they actually had the Super Game Boy, which was basically the same thing where you could play Game Boy games on the
yep,
Super Nintendo.
yep. Oh, I forgot all about that. Forgot all about that. Like that whole idea of docking was not revolutionary with the Switch, and people forget that, or they just didn't
Mm-hmm.
know, because they're too young.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, it definitely made me think about a few things.
Oh yeah. I wish they would have brought one out for the 3DS because I actually there are some games I'd have loved to play it on a big screen with that, but we'll.
Oh well, speaking of that, that's a perfect segue. My least favorite thing. Well, I'm just gonna say that my least favorite handheld. Is what we're talking about. Is the Steam Deck. I'm just gonna leave it at that because there's no need to go into deeper. But on that same note, my least favorite handheld accessory is the Kid Icarus 3DS stand. And if you've never seen it, I'm gonna send it to you right now because I already got this damn picture queued up so
No
you can see what
doubt.
this thing is. Because Kid Icarus was an amazing game. There you go. I just sent it. Kid Icarus was an amazing game, but you could not play with two hands. So you
What? No,
only
wait. What is
so
going on?
hold on. I'm about to explain. So with the 3DS, with Kid Icarus, you only moved with the left analog stick, but you had to use the freaking stylus to run, aim, and shoot. Only Nintendo. So obviously you can't hold it with two hands while you did that. So basically, you set the freaking 3DS on this stand while you use your other hand to shoot and aim and run. Like you would flick the stick up to make him run. You would flick it left and right to make him dodge, like sideways and back to flick it back, and then you tap the screen to make him shoot, or you hold it down to make him shoot. Now this game is made by amazing developers, and the battle scenes and the monster the enemies that they had in this game were amazing. But the battle scenes that they had in this game were fantastic. Like, dude, it was so cinematic that I could not stop playing it. But I had to use this stupid stand because it came with the stand. It came with the stand. I'm like, what the hell is this? What does this stand for?
Uh,
And then
I
at
remember
the
doing that in a big ass box when you had to buy the game.
uh
You're like,
huh.
what is
Yep. And if I'm not mistaken, at the beginning of the game, they show you how to use this damn thing, and I had to lay on my stomach in my bed and play like that. My neck and back hurt so bad, and that was back in 2011, 2010, something like that. That I played this damn game. So even
Yeah.
then, it was a pain in the butt to play. It was not fun. So I'm really hoping that they re-release this some point in time, maybe on the Switch too, with a different capacity with like regular controls, because that game was
I
so
mean, you know they
amazing.
can do it. Skyward Sword is a perfect example of that. Which I still need to go back and finish.
Yeah, they definitely need to do that.
But
or
yeah, well, in another game that just got the same thing, I love The Legend of Zelda, but I wasn't even going near that spirit track for that other game because, like, I'm not trying to play Zelda with a stylus. Like, they tried to force the stylus down your throat, which I did not care
yeah,
for too much.
yeah, they most definitely did. Um, I didn't play those games again until later. I didn't play those games till on the Wii U, where you can actually turn the Wii U sideways, and they had the double screen on it that way.
Hmm.
Now I heard real quick that there's a patent for the Switch 2 that somebody found where it has a gyroscope in it. So you know you turn your phone sideways and the whole screen turns. It's the same
Yep.
thing for the Switch 2. So all those arcade shooter games, they play like that. The any game on the 3DS would take advantage of that, because then that way you can have the real estate on the screen to have two screens, and it's already touchscreen to begin with. So yeah, you actually might just get
Well,
you might just get your wish with the Switch too.
everyone.
hmm You bring that to
You
the
can do that
shop.
with a Wii U.
Yeah, we can do that with the Wii U. Yep, because I there's so many games that I had on there for the 3DS. And speaking of 3DS, that was it's probably my second favorite handheld. You know what? No. I think the 3DS might be my first favorite handheld.
It's possible that'd be the same for me too. I mean, like the 3DS just kind of did everything.
It did everything great. It really did.
Yeah,
Well, okay, hold on. Initially, the 3D was horrible. It really was.
I still don't
But
mess with the 3D. That's
but
about
then but then with the 3D XL, they fixed that.
3DS exit.
They fixed that so freaking good on that, and it's like I tried to make it not work, and you gotta like really go out of your way for the 3D not to sync with your eyeballs. They did a great job. And even from time to time
Well,
now,
shoot.
if I'm playing the game, I'll pop on the 3D like during like certain battles and stuff like that, just to use it that way. Like I really do miss that functionality.
So to be fair, with my eyes, I don't think the 3D was really a thing that it did not function the same for me as it would for most people. So I never messed with it. But I did hear that by the time the XL came out, it was good. I didn't have a regular 3DS. I had two 3DS XL. Well, technically, I had a 3DS XL and a new Nintendo 3DS XL. And what
Ah,
the name of it? Look it up.
I forgot about the new one. I think that's the one that I have for my Majora's Mask
Legend of
special,
Zelda.
right?
The Legend of Zelda one was the new Nintendo
Yeah,
3DS XL.
that's the one I got, and that's the one that fixed the actual 3D in it. Which,
And no, I think the regular XL fixed the 3D. It was the original, like you had the regular 3DS, and then they had the 3DS XL, and then the new Nintendo. Oh, maybe I know that the XL, the new one fixed the freaking like D-pad or something like that. Just like or the not the D-pad, but the that joystick thingy that they had, which was still kind of bad, but it was
yeah,
better than it was on the original one.
yeah, that thing was weird. It barely moved. It was
Yeah,
like,
that's
come
what
on.
I'm saying. It was like it was so I don't even know it was the right one. Yeah, the
Yep,
left one moved okay enough, but the right one was so weird and like not movie.
not movie. It was
Sorry,
very,
I'm
it was,
sorry,
it was, it was very, it was very shallow. You know,
but yeah, it was just it did not move. Like it literally just more like pressure than anything. Oh wait, no,
exactly.
it was only one because there is not one on the wait maybe. Oh no, I take that back. The original XL didn't even have that thing. The XL. Oh wait, no. Oh wait, no, it is. It's that little that thing is even a button. Oh my God, that is the worst thing. Okay, first of all, no, the original 3DS XL didn't even have it. They only added this thing to the new Nintendo 3DS XL, and that's the thing that doesn't move. So
Yep.
it's like you got a pressure. It's like pressure
Yep.
sensitive.
Yep.
Like
It's one of those pressure buttons. I don't think I ever used the damn thing once.
I don't think I've ever, yeah, I don't think I've ever had a need. I don't even know what game would you use that for. I did not. I don't think I ever did.
That's pretty funny. One of my first games the first game I did play for the new 3D XL was Majora's Mask, and I never played Majora's Mask back in the day, so I definitely I played that game to completion, not 100%, but I wrote the credits on that game on my 3D XL, and I just took that thing everywhere. I played it whenever I could. I always had it in my pocket. I would be in the room with my patients, and then I would pop it out if they weren't looking at it. I would play. Just don't tell nobody.
Oh no, no, look, I straight up love my 3DS. Like I still take that around sometimes when I'm trying to shiny hunt some stuff. But but regardless of that, like so like I missed the Street Pass from the freaking 3DS. That was like one of the
Street
best
Pass
things
is so
Nintendo
good.
ever did.
It was so freaking good. You got so much good stuff from that all the time.
Yeah.
And then,
Uh-huh.
whenever I would like go to like a Comic Con or something like that, I would always bring it, and then I would check it when I left. It'd be like hundreds of me's just marching through my 3DS. It was so good.
Yeah, unfortunately, I never went to a Comic Con before. I mean, well, I went to that one with you, but I don't think I took. I don't think that was like beyond the 3DS era. Is what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like I just love like going like to the mall or wherever I'm going, and it's just like, or even going honestly, going to work because I ain't gonna lie, that was like the era of me using my freaking 3DS, going to work and just having it in my pocket or even in my locker or something like that. But the Wi-Fi was actually pretty good, so you could get like like the passerby from pretty far away. So like I love to go to see that green light when I go checking out my break and stuff like that. Yeah, you got new
Hmm.
street passes, get those
Very,
puzzle pieces and all that other stuff. Like
very satisfying.
there was even like the one thing where it's like you could
Excuse me.
actually basically get a key to like fight a legendary Pokemon in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but you had to like pass by somebody that had the street pass and had to fight them. So it's kind of like one of those viral things where it's like the first like I think the first people got it from like an actual Nintendo event like that, but after that they were like the carriers, so like basically it was up to them to spread. As they walk, if you walk by them and you had a game, then you're gonna get the code. And that was like a great thing. I just love all the neat things they did with the Street Pass, and I know they probably won't, but hopefully switch to
Hmm.
it. You listening to me? Bring back the Street Pass, dog.
All they have to do is bring back Street Pass for Switch 2. They need to update the UI to basically what the 3DS is, to where you can have backgrounds and music and stuff like that. I mean, even like the freaking
Please.
Xbox, like even the Xbox, look at this, look at this. Hold on, let me see. Like, look at this. Xbox has freaking amazing backgrounds that you could put on here.
Yeah, I know. I got one. You might not believe it, but I do got one. Right now, I got one. Actually, I can finally plug it back in since I got rid of the TV.
Right. But those like I miss those little bitty touches that made it feel Nintendo. Like Nintendo was like such a
Yeah.
joyous, amazing company, and when you play the systems and play the games, you feel that joy of like being a kid again. And they with
Exactly.
the Switch, they took that away.
Bro, you get black and you get white. That's it.
I think it's gray, gray and white. To be honest,
The point is, it's very plain. Okay, it is very plain.
mega plain. With some stickers or something, and we can trade with our friends online and unlock new stuff that way. Just
All of the UI is just terrible on the Switch. It doesn't. It feels like it didn't even try. Like it took a step back. I take a step back from a freaking 3DS. I mean, the 3DS was amazing, but I guess supposed to learn from that and make your freaking handheld and also as a TV console be like the best.
exactly.
You know,
Um,
this is
another game that we both enjoyed. You know what I'm going to say.
Super Smash Brothers on a 3DS.
Now that wasn't Brawl. It wasn't Melee. Ultimate was the one for the
It was
Switch.
literally called Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS because they also had Super Smash Brothers for the uh Wii U. It was technically Smash 4, but they didn't have a name. It was just like Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS, Super Smash Brothers for the Switch. But it was Smash 4.
Gotcha. Yeah, we definitely played the crap out of that game, and I remember being at a drive-in movie one time, and I connected my 3DS to my phone's Wi-Fi, and you and I had quite a few matches. Had some good matches too.
I remember connecting and work on my break to play you. That's how much I love playing Smash. That was my most my most fun time playing Smash on the 3DS. You would never
Yep.
think that because it was small screen, but I loved the hell out of that game. Like that game did everything right. The 3DS version, the only thing it didn't do right was that one. Well, no, that the 3DS mode, it was better than the Switch mode. I mean the Wii U mode. Like you know, there was that one unique version for each of like
Hmm.
I can't remember what it was called, but like the 3DS one was pretty fun. It wasn't the subspace emissary of Brawl, but nothing left beat that. But like it was a fun version that they had on the 3DS. The Switch was like some boring ass like board game that I did not even like get through once.
Yeah, that definitely took over 100 hours to beat that because I remember getting to like 60 hours into that thing, and I was like, okay, we've got to be coming up on the end because the stage like really indicated and the story indicated that this was going to be the end of it. There was like another 40 hours of like straight content, and that was me like beelining through this thing, like nonstop on the Switch. It was crazy, but the one on the 3DS was like it was more like a platformer, and
Yes, I
that
love
was a
that
lot of
one.
fun. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the icons were like feet, sword, and then like a shield or something like that, and that just boosted your stats as you picked up those icons. And then I remember the most satisfying thing was when you would kill a big enemy, and they would give you a big icon, and it would just boost your freaking defense or strength or whatever like times like 5 or 6, and it was just like so satisfying. And then you would
Yep.
go through and fight the enemies and just start like taking them out with like one hit. Oh, I missed that. I need to find that game now.
It's so fun. It's so funny though. Because it's like like I remember like they were like pegging this like they're coming out on both consoles, but like I was thinking like okay the 3DS version too could have like tied me over to the Switch version to come out. I played the hell out of the 3DS version. I barely touched the Switch version. I mean the game in the Wii U. Okay. I barely touched the Wii U version of that game. Like it was so disappointing after playing the freaking 3DS.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Um, let's see. Majora's Mask. Oh, Nintendogs. Nintendogs was a surprise because I'm not a dog person and I'm really not that guy, so I don't like stuff like that necessarily. But the concept of just having like this cute, cute puppy on your screen at any given time that you could just pet and play with and feed and play ball toss with, it was so different and so unique and so fun to play tug of war with a freaking virtual dog, and it didn't have to deal with the poop. Really enjoyed that one. A Link Between Worlds. That was another one that I really had a great time
Oh
with.
my. Yeah, I remember we had many conversations about it.
Yeah, and
No, I mean, you talk about how good it was, even though I was always confused about if it was a sequel or if it was a remake, but I was a re-envisioned version of Link to the Past, which was one
yeah,
of my
it
favorite.
was more of a re-envisioning of
Yeah,
it, but they just did such a great job with it. It's just like with the Smash. It's just like on point. Everything about it was on point.
yep.
1000%. And then the last one for the 3DS before we move on that I really enjoyed was Kingdom Hearts 3D. Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop
Dream
Distance.
Drop Distance, which I only played the demo, but even that was fun as hell. I'm gonna agree with you, Joe.
Yeah, I had a fantastic time with that game, and there was one who got some more armor. Um, there was one boss that I could not beat from the Tron stage, And I remember we were driving home from somewhere because we just went on vacation. We were driving home somewhere, and I lost to this dude like 6 times back to back. And I was ready to throw my 3DS. That's how frustrated I was. And then I was fighting this dude for like the seventh time. And then somehow, some way, like I was 2 minutes in the fight, and it glitched somehow. I don't know how, and I beat him. And I was like, okay, I'll take that. I just
Oh,
I could not beat that damn dude. But the story in that game, I mean, just like all the other Kingdom Hearts games are kind of convoluted. But
oh God, understatement.
yeah, but it was just they again, the 3DS did an amazing job. It just had
Yeah, the
so much
3DS
fun with
brought
it.
a lot of like fun mechanics in the games that we've already played, just made them better. I don't know how to
hmm
explain that, but it just did.
So with the Wii and the Wii U, with the Wii, it felt very innovative at first, but then it felt very gimmicky shortly thereafter. It did not take long for us as gamers to realize that all you had to do was wiggle or waggle the remote to make something happen. And
Uh-huh.
with the 3DS, like the games that we loved, um, they they took it seriously, and they put in those good modes in there to make it an amazing portable experience.
Yeah. But what
And
I'll also say about the Wii is that I'll say that first party games at least came out pretty well in comparison to third party games, where then it's like they didn't try at all. Like, what was it? Your WWE game or your Dragon Ball Z game on the Wii, those were just like hot garbage.
yeah, those are definitely bad because they
But like
tried
the first party games, they were decent. Like I believe, I can't remember what. Well, we won't talk about Metroid other end, but
to.
like
Never mention
with
other
Twilight Princess, I don't care what nobody says. I know it came out on the GameCube, but I'm counting that Wii version as the definitive version of Twilight Princess. Of course, that's
Ah,
a
damn it.
launch game, so you really can't go wrong with that one, anyways. But even Skyward Sword, other than the trashy ass Wii Motion Plus, it didn't work at all.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed Skyward Sword. I know a lot of people didn't, but with those controls aside, I still had a fantastic time with that game. I did.
Yeah.
I love the location of Mr. Beetle. Him being in the sky and you having the what was that?
Super Mario Galaxy used the Wii, utilized the Wii very well. That was a was that Wii or
hmm
GameCube? Yeah, it was Wii. Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
Sunshine
Yep, it was we. Yep, Mario Galaxy 2 was great.
Sunshine was my black, was like my disappointment of a Mario game. Like I don't know, I couldn't get behind Sunshine.
Yeah, Sunshine was pretty terrible.
Stupid water pack. They overutilized the stupid water pack and like took away like all the actual like platforming the normal Mario games had, except when you went to what I would call those challenge levels. Those were fun.
I went back and tried to play it, after it released on that
And
collection,
all
and
stars.
oof, no, it
It did
is
not hold.
it is no good, my friend. Did not hold up at
Nope.
all.
I
Uh,
replayed Mario 64.
All right, quick conversation about the Switch and the Switch 2. Where would you put the Switch on your list of handhelds of all time?
Okay, because you know me, I initially didn't even use the Switch as a handheld. I used it mainly as a console game. But using it as a console game, you gotta rank it low. But using it as a handheld, it actually gets ranked pretty decently high. But I can't put it to the top because, as I said, it's missing a lot of the stuff that the freaking grand for its father, I don't know, his cousin, whatever you want to call it, 3DS did everything right that it is not doing. So I'd rank it somewhere above it.
You heard it
Um,
here, folks. The 3DS is the cousin of the Switch. Well, it actually kind of is if you think about it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not, you can't say it's a father because you know the Switch is a combination of a handheld and a portable, so it's really more like a cousin. It's part of the big ass Atawahi family of the Switch. It's the Nintendo Atawahi family. That's a damn ass bloodline right there. But
Very
no, so
funny.
like the cousin of the Switch just did everything honestly better. It did everything better, and that's right. The graphics on the 3DS. Not saying they were the greatest, but they held up
Yeah.
to what the Switch do.
Yep. 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 So I mean, I when they say that this next one's going to be strong, because they said the Switch is supposed to be powerful, but obviously it wasn't. And that's what they're saying about this next one too, the Switch 2. So, I mean, I guess we'll find out April 2nd. Now on
Yeah,
that
so
direct.
yeah, I'm getting so tired of them talking about, oh, it's gonna have the power of in between. I don't like when the measuring stick is in between an old console and an older console that's the same generation. That's just ridiculous.
It's going to
They're
have.
comparing it between current the consoles that came out with the original Switch. What kind of measuring stick is that? You don't do that. That's just saying, oh, it's gonna be subpar and better. They didn't even mention a freaking current generation system. No, they compared it between the main competition of the regular Switch.
Hmm.
The regular Switch. This is why I get pissed off every time they say, "Oh, it's gonna be as strong as a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 4 Pro." No, no. It, you had like how many years? It's been like 10 years. It's time to step your game up. I know you all don't care so much about graphics, but come on, dog. Give me a system that doesn't make Pokemon Scarlet and Violet type situations happen.
Well, I guess we'll find out with Pokemon ZA.
Okay, and speaking of that, I absolutely pray that it is in fact a Switch 2 launch title and not a Switch 1 game, and it's not even for the Switch, even though it probably will be, but just look. Pokemon Legend Arceus, it was a fun game. The
I love
graphics
Arceus.
were to be, asked for, but it was a fun game. But then Scarlet and Violet comes out, and you take a step backwards.
Yeah.
In terms of like graphics, in terms of what the games do, there ain't even buildings in the damn game. There's
Yeah,
like 3 buildings in the entire freaking Scarlet and Violet universe. You telling me you didn't have enough power to put a building in there? That's not because when you throw freaking windmills it'd be like 5 frames, no sorry, 3 frames per second. That tells you how the game's gonna be.
Yeah, that was definitely awkward for everybody.
Yeah. But I'm praying that the Switch 2 gets like that like an actual optimized for the Switch 2 Pokemon ZA. Like I'm sorry Switch 1 owners, but no, you don't get to play this new Pokemon game. I know you're losing out on some money, Nintendo. Make sure the scalpers don't get the Switch 2. Make sure everybody has a happy day. Thank you.
The end.
Also, I'm really hoping that we like get the themes and everything. Basically, all the stuff 3DS had that Switch didn't have. We hope we get all that kind of stuff. I really pray that we get a good eShop again, like how the 3DS's eShop was. I
Well,
hope we get like more like retro games about it being a whole big deal. Like instead of just bringing it, oh, we're gonna do the I mean, I like the whole thing with like the the Nintendo Online where you can get like the games and stuff. But they've released them so slow. I would rather just spend some like $5 something and get the games that I want. Period. Just like make a catalog like we used to have.
yeah. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. And I will say, since I've been back on Xbox, like last time I was on here, whenever that was, 6, 7 months ago, a year ago, whenever that was, like the Game Pass, the Game Pass, the options for games, they weren't that good. They've gotten much better. Also, too, the way that the whole UI for that is curated, they fixed a lot of stuff on there that I had issues with before. So it's a lot easier to get to, just about everything that's on there, and easier to find. Because last time it was bogged down with so much BS and so much
I
crap
do
that I
remember
was.
that. Like I haven't checked in a long time. I do remember when I first got my
Hmm.
Xbox Series X and tried to use it. Like I was trying to look for something like they make you go through like 5 sub menus and stuff. That's how I ended up accidentally buying like the legend, like the limited edition Call of Duty, when I just want to like download the free version to play.
Hmm. Yep, but it's gotten much much better. And then I found out recently that if you have Game Pass, that you get discounts on like purchasing like full versions of games. They give you like 15 to 20% off games or whatever. And I don't think they did that before.
That's where Xbox. I mean, Sony used to do that back in the day too. You don't get that anymore. Like yeah, they used to do it back like on the PlayStation 3 era.
Hmm.
I remember that.
Yep, exactly. So Xbox is catching up on a few things. They're getting a few things right. But
And
I think in the next 5 6 years, they're supposed to have their own handheld out. So we'll definitely see how that goes.
everybody wants a handheld. Look, Nintendo. I already told you kind of what I really want to see happen. If Nintendo wants to really get back into it, they just need to make like a Switch handheld version, but then make an actual Switch 2 to have the power of the PlayStation 5 Pro. Like, I want a powerful system and I
He's
want a handheld.
he said pro.
Yeah, fuck yeah. You got right.
You do.
PlayStation 5 been out for like 5 years already, PlayStation 5 been out for like 5 years already. Switch is playing like it's a freaking GameCube.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. And the moment that my OLED started to slow down, I was like, "Come on, man!" And even I did have a crap ton of games downloaded on there, but you
It
know
couldn't do it.
it shouldn't. It slowed down from that, and it wasn't even just the games loading up. It was the games like me playing in game.
Yeah, exactly. That shouldn't be a problem. That should not be a problem at all. Like, come on. That's showing you how outdated their freaking software is or something like that. Or
Yep,
hardware, I'm sorry.
yeah, fine. I know exactly what you meant.
And
But
again, 3DS should do that. How many years ago did the 3DS come out? Like 20?
this
Oh,
is
you
the
got that wrong.
this is the
You got me
Angry
ready.
Jones hour.
You got me ready. I think the 3DS came out like 16 years ago. You could have as many games loaded onto that thing and it still running a nice fresh speed.
That's true. That's true. I mean, you got to wonder if they took like some shortcuts there.
I think they took a whole lot of stuff. It might explain why the prices are always kind of cheap on Nintendo stuff. I mean, like on the Switch, because the Switch was very cheap for it being that next generation console. Even though now we learned that it wasn't necessarily next generation. But that's the thing. They could, if they really try, they can make some games look pretty. Like Breath of the Wild, that was a beautiful ass looking game. And I believe Mario Odyssey did the same thing. But then you got like all the other stuff.
Mario Odyssey, Metroid Dread,
Like,
Luigi's
Mind.
Mansion, Luigi's Mansion 3 are probably the three prettiest games on Switch. And I've said this before on the podcast, but with Luigi's Mansion 3, I could literally see the threads in Luigi's overalls, which was insane. And that wasn't in cutscene. That was in the game when you're actually walking around playing.
Mhm. Okay, and just a quick question because because I haven't even like loaded up the Tears of the Kingdom. So how does that stand up in terms of like how you feel about it graphically in comparison to how the Breath of the Wild was? Like, is it underwhelming because the Switch has already been out for so many years and they could have done better, or is it basically the exact same as Breath of the Wild? How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's pretty much the same as Breath of the Wild. It's a little bit better, just a little bit. But if you do like a side by side comparison, like it's honestly pretty much the same damn thing, like for real. But I mean, the graphics aren't really the draw for that game to begin with. It's the same thing for Breath of the
Yeah,
Wild. I mean, Breath of the Wild was gorgeous. It really was when it first came out. It was beautiful. Um,
that's what I'm saying. When it first came out, you couldn't stop it. I'm actually, when going back now because I do have to go back and do it because I know it's gonna be like, damn, I should have played it like the first game. That's why I'll be taking these times out I'm playing like, man, it could have been done.
exactly. That's why you play it when it freaking comes out or shortly thereafter. Damn it, fool! You fool!
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well,
And
moving on.
graphics aren't my number one thing either, so I'm okay with that. As long as the gameplay is good, and it's just not like straight up like moving at like 1 frame per second the entire time you're playing is fine. Because like you see, I've been playing a lot of Pokemon, and that game looks like terrible. Like I actually have to squint. Like even if a Pokemon is right there, it's like grainy. I don't even know how to explain it. No, we're just gonna talk about how bad. I'm gonna stop. It's just bad. It's bad. I still play it because I love the gameplay.
That's hilarious. Speaking of gameplay, what are your your top 2 or 3 games from your time with the Switch over the years?
Um, let's see. Well, obviously, I'm gonna say, well, gameplay wise, I'm gonna say probably Arceus. Like, I'm actually liked that game style for the for what it was more than I actually like started the violent. The start of the violent, I like. I miss just being able to like do all the interactions you could with the Pokemon, like sneak up
Hmm.
behind them and catch them, rather than having to battle them no matter what you do.
Yep. There's a video that popped up recently. Me catching like five Pokemon back to back, and I was like one, two, three, four, five, and I got them all. I got them all.
It is very gratifying.
It's extremely gratifying because that's what the flip you're supposed to be. That's supposed to be like when you're an actual. Well, not that easy, but still. If you want to go out there and throw a freaking Pokeball at the Pokemon and catch it, that's a beautiful thing. That's what it's supposed to be like. And I'm really hoping that ZA is like that.
Yeah, we'll find. Okay, we're gonna find out most likely
Stop
in
fighting me.
about 2 weeks on Pokemon Day, which is actually I think Pokemon Day is like a day before Monster Hunter comes out.
Oh,
I don't
really?
remember what day it comes out, but yeah, Alexa, when is Pokemon Day? Yep, one day before.
Okay. Interesting.
So we should find out about.
Mm.
We should get some actual like information about DA finally because like they really been holding back on it, so we can know how what kind of gameplay it's gonna be, and hopefully find out if it's gonna be on the Switch too. But I'm hoping it is like
Exclusive to the Switch too.
Hmm.
Hopefully exclusive to the Switch too.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Exclusively the Switch too, because of course it'll have backward compatibility or whatever if it was even on Switch one. But I'm hoping it is exclusively made for the Switch too. I'm correct. Because that would be the best reason why they didn't show hardly any gameplay before. Because I really believe they're holding out for the Switch 2 for this. I really do. And that's why we haven't gotten any information for so long because they didn't want to have any Switch 2 information. So now that they've at least acknowledged that the Switch 2 is actually real, they can actually go on ahead and say, here.
Even though they were forced to release that information because people people were just showing it all over the damn place.
Yeah.
Um, I'll give a quick rundown of the list of mine because we're almost out of time. But let me quit this fishing game too. Um, of course, Animal Crossing. That definitely stole all our hearts. And that was your very first Animal Crossing game, right?
Yeah, and I won't lie, I would be excited to play a new Animal Crossing right now because I definitely had my damn fun of playing the original one. I enjoyed it, but it just got once you like basically paid off your debt and everything. It's just when it got become very like grindy and just basically just doing chores.
Yeah, pretty much. And I really hope that they have a lot more support for this one because they did a good job supporting the last one, but all of a sudden they were like, okay, we're
Came too
done.
late. That's the problem. It came like way too late when they added the extra stuff. Like I was already basically out the door when they started adding other stuff where you could like go to different islands and all that other stuff.
Hmm.
So they need to add it sooner. That would be great. And bring back Giuseppe or whatever his name is. Resetti. Resetti.
This fool
There's not
said,
only heard the legends of that dude. He
this
is
fool
amazing.
said Giuseppe. Good lord. Bring back Giuseppe. A few more of mine. My game of the year for 2018, 2019, Hollow Knight. I played that on the Switch, and that game along with the first Octopath. Like I just remember just sitting there, just listening to the soundtracks. Aside from the games being amazing, I just could not stop listening to the soundtracks. I could not stop playing those games. Those were both on the Switch, and then later on, I played them on the PS4. No, I played it on the PS5 later on. And they were much better there. But at the time, for what they were just knocked down amazing. Blaster Master 1 and 2, and these are all the games that I love playing in handheld mode, especially with the OLED. What did you say?
Did that come out on the Switch?
Yeah, I'm talking about that's what I'm talking about on the Switch.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm talking about the games that I really enjoyed in handheld mode on the Switch. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Because with Animal Crossing, like I would be on the couch playing, and the wife would be watching TV, whatever. So I would enjoy it that way. It was much better with the OLED, just like everything else is. Blaster Master 1 and 2, I played those nonstop until I beat them. Celeste, I beat on a car ride to Outer Banks, North Carolina, one time. But that story just it still has my heart. I still think about that game and that soundtrack. Hades took me by surprise when I started loving like roguelike games. When I first learned what those were and started really enjoying those, Hades was another one. A horror game called Inmost. I remember playing around Halloween time. I played the crap out of that game. I just had to beat it. Um, Katana Zero is another one, another indie game that I had a fantastic time. That's about the the ninja or the samurai who came back from a war and he has PTSD, and the story revolves around that and him hallucinating and seeing things and you don't know what's real and what's not. And aside from that, the gameplay was just phenomenal. You can kind of slow time down and take out your enemies that way, and it was just so good. It's basically like the movie Sherlock Holmes. Have you seen that one?
I'm trying to remember which one that is. I've seen quite a few, but I'm trying to. I think I did see it where it was like one Sherlock Holmes where he was like, "Damn Batman," but I don't think that was the one.
Yeah, I think that's what you're talking about. It has Robert Downey Jr. in it, and
Yeah,
the guy who played Iron Man, and he has this
yeah,
thing. He has this special skill where he can like predetermine the fights, and he sees the fight play out in his head based on
yeah.
right.
Yep.
So the game Katana Zero is just like that, but it's a pixel samurai PTSD game. It's hard to explain, but it's
That's a
just
lot of descriptive words right there.
yeah. Actually,
I'm sorry to all of you PTSD samurais out there that are listening.
it's actually on our 2019 Game of the Year episode. It's on there. So that game was amazing. Um, of course, Mario Odyssey. That game was
Yeah,
just
we've been doing it for 5, 6 years.
yeah.
We're on
Yes.
episode 40. Okay, we need to
Yes,
speed this
sir.
along, man.
Well, life has been happening, so it's been fun. But yeah, um, I had a great time with the Switch despite its shortcomings, and I'm hoping and praying by this time next year we can be chatting about the Switch 2 and how much better it's done. And I really want that damn handheld slash home console to be top of the list the next time we do
That
this. You
would
know what I
help.
mean?
'Cause like I said, I've always been a Nintendo fanboy, and I always root for Nintendo. They just make it hard for me to root for them when they've been doing some of the decisions they've been doing lately.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely find out by the end of this year. See what happens. Anyway, that is going to be the end of this episode. And next week we shall return, barring any crazy life crises happening, which have been happening a lot lately. But anyway, until next time, gamers, keep on
Leveling up.